In Aliens Fireteam Elite, you play as a Colonial Marine, humanity's best when it comes to alien threats, but not every Marine has the same role and abilities. So I'm Darcblade with a beginner's guide to the dock in Aliens Fireteam Elite. In these short beginner guides, we'll go over the various classes in the game to give players an idea of what their class does, their role, and more. When it comes to the dock in the game, you are all about support, healing, and being defensive. You're able to buff your allies, heal them, and keep them in the fight for longer. But it has a few weird mechanics which we'll get into. Now first of all, the weapon archetypes available to the dock include the rifles, so it has access to decent mid and long range weaponry, and it also has access to a handgun. The handguns are okay when it comes to close quarters combat, but they won't beat actual close quarter weaponry in the game, unfortunately, making it risky for the dock when enemies get up close. But Aliens Fireteam Elite is all about being a team, so should enemies get up close, your allies should be able to protect you. Now every class has access to 3 abilities, 2 kit abilities and 1 kit perk. First of all, for the dock, their first kit ability is the Trauma Station. When activated, you'll place a trauma station down on the ground, to which you'll see an area of effect around it. When yourself or your allies enter this ring, they'll start to be healed over time. But the trauma station actually has a limited supply. Next to the trauma station, when you've deployed it, you'll see a bar that depletes as you start to heal your allies more and more. And it can be quite confusing to how you actually replenish this. The way you replenish your trauma station is by picking up med packs. When you pick up a med pack, it will also replenish your trauma station as well. So with that, if you're playing with a dock in your team, I strongly advise that you leave any first aid kits you find around the map for them so they can recharge their trauma station. So with that, when the trauma station is empty for the dock, and we come across an area that has some first aid kits in, and we've already taken some damage, what we'll do is we'll leave the first aid kits for the dock. The dock will then proceed to heal us using the first aid kits one after another, which in turn will fill up the trauma station as well. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but this is probably the optimal way for when it comes to recharging and replenishing the trauma station's ability to heal. Finally, when it comes to the trauma station, you can manually pick it up as well once you feel you've healed yourself or your allies enough, so you can take it with you. The other kit ability is combat stims. When activated, the dock will buff himself and his nearby allies, increasing their accuracy and stability by 50%. It will also increase their stamina regeneration by 30% and their movement speed by 15%. So a great all-round combat buff that enhances everyone's performance. And then finally is the kit perk, which is known as the Field Medic. For each ally that is nearby you, their ability recharge speeds will be increased by 15%. This Field Medic perk also explains how we're able to recharge the trauma station by picking up first aid kits as well. Now of course you can specialize and augment your abilities through perks, but we'll cover this in more in-depth build videos further on down the line. Now of course every build out there has pros and cons. The 2 biggest pros for the dock is the fact that it can heal its allies, able to keep them in the fight for longer, and the other pro is that it's able to buff their allies as well. But unfortunately the major con for this build is that it's kind of lacking when it comes to damage output. None of its abilities really increase its damage potential, and its weaponry can be kind of lacking, especially when it comes to close quarters combat. But if you're looking to play a support role, you get gratification of keeping your allies in the fight for longer. By playing the healer and support, I'd strongly recommend the dock. So there we have it, that is the basics of the dock in Aliens Fireteam Elite. Now as you progress through the game, you'll start to earn and unlock perks for your characters, allowing for different builds. So if you're interested, I'd love to bring you more videos on the characters in the game. But until then, I've been Darcblade, bringing you a beginner's guide to the dock in Aliens Fireteam Elite. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.